Hello everyone, Blitz here. Today I'm going to be ranking every main villain of Ninjago. I don't need to remind anyone what this series is about. It's one of the most popular radio series ever, with this show going on for 13 years, 19 seasons, with 4 reboots, or soft reboots, a TV special, a movie that's not canon, and tons of LEGO sets. And I mean tons and tons of LEGO sets. Yeah, you get the idea. I loved the series when it first started back in 2011, but it feels like the pilot aired back in 2008. I think it's 18 seasons when the Island and Seabound is together in one season, but if you think like me, they are separate seasons in my mind. I love the characters, the weapons, the action, the stories, the powers they have, and the lore that it has. And the intro is fire, along with the music by The Fold. But the one thing I love the most about Ninjago is the villains. They provide obstacles in the ninja's path, the connections they have with our heroes, the stories they hold, and how menacing they are. Though the series have some great villains, they also have some not so great ones too. The ninja have fought many various villains throughout the series that are different in many ways. They fought skeletons, pirates, robots, dragon creatures, biker gangs, ghosts, demons, and snakes. Powerful snakes, tiny snakes, fire snakes. How many times have they fought snakes? Are they the only villain concept they use when the writers run out of ideas? If you're wondering how Ninjago has 4 reboots, I can explain that. Season 3 is basically called Rebooted. It came back and continued to run. Season 8, Sons of Garmadon, is a soft reboot that changed the characters with the movie energy look. So it's sort of a reboot. Season 10 is supposed to be the series finale. Ninjago came back but ran by a different studio and a different engine, I think. And the episodes were like 10 minutes long from season 11 to season 16. And the Netflix reboot of Dragon's Horizons, that's still going. These can be reboots or continuations, whatever you like to call them. I say mostly soft reboots. I'm a huge fan of the show, well I kind of used to be. Some of the seasons are lacking a bit. I'm kind of tired of seeing the same thing a lot. It feels like we don't get any room to breathe. It feels like every season is an afterthought. We get a new season every 4 to 6 months after the last one. I didn't realize that we were already on season 3 of Dragon's Horizons. It feels like if I blinked that we were going to be on season 4 or 5 that quickly. I used to collect the LEGO sets back during the first 10 seasons, and I stopped mostly because I don't have enough room, or a lot of them don't seem interesting to me. I really miss the days of the Ghost season and Day of the Departed, and any of the sets that I wanted. Could anyone sell me the Destiny's Bounty of the Ghost season? No? Okay. I wish I had the money to buy them all back then. I'm going to go over a lot in this series of mine. I can go over a lot with the show that I have many thoughts and opinions on. I can rank every season, every elemental master, every ninja outfit, every ninja vehicle, secondary characters, secondary villains, the minions and their vehicles, the MacGuffins or weapons or objects throughout every season, the collectibles, if you like to say them. I could do locations and hideouts in seasons LEGO sets, and I can go over some things that irritate me in the show. Let's get into the ranking. Just to let you all know, this is all my opinion, and I'll give pros and cons for all villains, and a brief history of them too. I'm only doing the show, so no books, comics, or whatever they're called, if it is even canon, and no spin-offs. I'm only going with main villains here, so secondary and number 2s will be in another video. I'm going to have a few honorable mentions here before I get into the actual ranking of all 22 villains, or 27 if I'm counting the Forbidden 5 separately. Thunderfang will be grouped with them, and the Time Trends will be one category. And the Ice Chapter villains will be grouped together, aka Vex and the Ice Emperor. Honorable mention 1 is Ronin. I know Ronin isn't a villain, but he does get in their way. He's a bounty hunter willing to do anything to make a quick buck. He sold his soul to a cursed spirit, and he has to pay off his debt so he doesn't go to the cursed realm. Ever since he met up with the ninja again, they were able to beat the cursed spirits in his realm, so he doesn't get his soul taken. He was the villain of the 3DS game, but it was not canon at all, and the villain of the Island season, if you separate that from Seabound. I find Ronin as a cool character, a very good manipulator, and a decent fighter. He tries, and I need him to appear on Dragon's Horizons. Pros, he's a skilled hunter, many weapons and tech at his disposal, intelligent, master strategist, good negotiator, good at hand-to-hand combat, taking advantage of any situation to make money, and a potential ally in need. Cons, greed gets in his way, powerless in big situations, and selfish. Honorable mention 2, the Great Devourer, the gigantic snake from the Serpentine legend. the snake that consumes all. The more it eats, the bigger it gets. It appeared in flashback and ruined Garmadon's past, the snake that bit Garmadon that caused him to be evil, and set free by Pythor. I'm counting the Devourer as an honorable mention because it was something that was built up towards, and the Bringer of Doom, the monster unleashed on the season 1 finale to destroy Ninjago, but was defeated by Garmadon. But the Great Devourer cannot be controlled, a beast on destruction, ally of the Overlord, and used to be queen of the Serpentine. This snake is terrifying and you're completely powerless to beat it, if you don't know how to. Pros, it's gigantic, the more it eats, the bigger it gets. Very destructive, and its venom is really dangerous, that can turn you evil. Cons, weak spot is on its head, and it's very big to small spaces, so people can easily escape. Honorable mention 3 is the Preeminent, the Cursed Realm itself. She is the queen of all cursed spirits. She was freed by Moro and destroyed by the ninja. The Cursed Realm is freaking terrifying and is able to turn anyone to a ghost. The ghost plans was to curse all the realms with the Preeminent. She came back in a stupid episode in season 11 when Pixel was fighting her Godzilla-like. My only complaint now, since all the realms are merged now, I like to see more of the realm, or know more about it. The whereabouts of the Preeminent is unknown ever since the merge happened. The Cursed Realm and the Departed Realm merged into one realm called the Spectral Lands. Pros, she's gigantic, has a ghost army to her command, can curse anyone and grow stronger when she consumes living souls. Cons, weak to water, weak to deep stone material that ghosts can't possess, and she's trapped inside herself, or stuck in a realm between, currently unknown if she's alive or dead. Honorable mention 4, Wajira, a giant sea snake or dragon, the villain of the seas, set under a spell of slumber by a sea goddess. Awoken by Calamar, season 15 villain, Seabound. You need 2 amulets to awaken her. I don't have a lot to say about this one, just another giant creature set loose on Ninjago to destroy the people for revenge, because the creatures of certain species felt oppressed. Pros, able to control wind and water, can control the seas, able to flood the surface world, good swimmer, and have powers of storms. Cons, can be controlled and have to be awakened by amulets. Honorable mention 5 is Arcturus, one of the main generals of the Untitled tribe. During the Serpentine Wars, he was running various battles to conquer Ninjago. When the Elemental Alliance found the sacred flutes that turned the tide of the battle and won the war, sealing all the tribes in various tombs throughout Ninjago, and sending Arcturus and the Anaconda generals to the Cursed Realm by Garmadon. He reflected on his actions and realized he was tricked by Chen for the lies and deception about the peace treaty. Decades later, set free by Garmadon, taking their place the cursed Chen and the fake snake cultists to the Cursed Realm. Thanking Pythor, returning him to normal size, thanking Lloyd for restoring peace between the humans and Serpentine, and moving on to the Departed Realm. I was contemplating to myself if I wanted to add Arcturus to the honorable mentions. He isn't a villain to the ninja, but only to the Elemental Alliance during the Serpentine Wars, and we barely saw him during the flashbacks. Season 4 is a masterpiece as it is, but it would have been a bit better if they did something like the TV show DC Arrow and told a separate story like they did with the flashbacks within the show, but they did it with the Serpentine Wars. It is an interesting story for them to tell. They could show us Arcturus' rise to power, how Chen manipulated and lied to both sides, how Rue and Garmadon met the Elemental Alliance, or shown them, and how Garmadon met Misako. We could have seen conflict between the Elemental Masters and between Rue and Garmadon, with his descent into villainy, and see more of the other tribes of the Serpentine. But like I said, Season 4 is a masterpiece as it is. Pros, immune to fire, can turn invisible, but we never saw him do it. Super strength, prolonged lifespan, very good strategist, great fighter, knows magic, can curse people as a ghost, can fly as a ghost, enlarge living beings like bringing Pythor back to normal, and good with swords. Cons, weak to the sacred flute, and can be easily tricked and fooled by liars, aka Chin. The last honorable mention here is Sensei Yang, creator of Air Jitsu, master of the Air Jitsu Temple. He wanted to live forever and never be forgotten, using the Yin Blade, but it backfired, cursing him, his students, and his temple that turned them to ghosts. He caused Cole to turn into a ghost, manipulated Cole to retrieve his blade, and tried to turn back to human on the day it departed, using the yin-yang moon to create a rift across the boundaries. He was able to bring back the ninja's old deceased enemies on the day it departed using dark magic during the eclipse. The Ninjago Museum had a hall of villains of the ninja's greatest foes, statues of Samakai, Jinyu-Kozu, Cryptor, Chen, Moro, and Pythor. Pythor were still alive during this event, their souls possessing the statues of themselves. If they wanted to return to the world of the living, they had to destroy the ones who destroyed them. It's a good thing the museum didn't have statues of the Overlord and the Great Devourer. Then Ninjago would have been obliterated. If you're wondering when this took place, it happened before season 7 of the show. If you didn't know or forgot, he was saved by Cole, turned to an ally. His soul is forever stuck to his temple. I could have put him on the list, but he's just a villain of a special. He could have potential to be a season-worthy villain. Pros: he's a martial artist, use of dark magic, manipulator, reaching out and possessing such as his painting in the museum, and bringing back the dead. Cons: weak to water and forever trapped in his temple. Now that all the honorable mentions are out of the way, let's get into ranking all the actual main villains. All 20 of them. Just a reminder, all of this is just my opinion. Here at number 20 is Iron Baron, the main villain of Season 9 hunted for the original 4 ninja and young Master Ru. The first realm, birthplace of the first Spinjitzu Master, a land of dragon and oni. A dragon hunter and a cruel boss, led his people in fear. Without him, they are nothing. Controlled them over the fear they had of oni. He searches the land for the firstborn dragon to get the dragon armor to control the dragons. That it really doesn't control the dragons, using deception and lies to get what he wants. He was killed by the firstborn dragon, unlimitedly covered in molten metal. I put him dead last because I just find him lame and unintimidated. He mostly complains half the time. I don't like his design, and he just has a lame motive, and he hurts dragons. Pros: a decent hunter, a manipulator, and using fear of the Oni to control. Cons: powerless, bad fighter, too prideful, quick to anger, selfish, and ignorant. Here at number 19 is the Ice Emperor and Vex, main villains of Season 11, Part 2, the Ice Chapter. The Ice Emperor is a version of Zane who was trapped in a different realm, was searching the realm for a way back to Ninjago, then was trying to reboot his system that was interrupted by Vex, making him forget all his memories, taking advantage of him and using him of his powers to take control of all of the Neverrealm. Vex is a formling, a species and tribe that can turn into any animal of their choosing. But Vex wasn't chosen and he took it personally and turned on his tribe. He was banished by his people, wandering the lands, and found Zane, used him by turning him into the Ice Emperor, and became his Ice Samurai General. They took over a castle and turned the Neverrealm into an ice-barren wasteland. Zane regained his memories upon hearing the word protect that reminded him what he was built for, saving Lloyd and stopping Vex by freezing him, and then later Vex was banished from the lands and the ninja returned to Ninjago. I put these two at number 19 since Zane isn't a villain, and it was cool to see him as one, and I found him better than Iron Baron, but he just felt bland and a bit. He just felt bland a bit, and Vex was lame and really forgettable. He was kind of threatening, but his motivation of Yoni was okay. He was not chosen for a spirit animal, and he took it personally and took it out on his people. Like, he was just really boring, and I just didn't find him that entertaining. And plus, I'm pretty sure everyone doesn't even remember him as a villain at all. For the Ice Emperor, corrupted, Zane, pros and cons. Pros: powers of ice, has the power of the Scroll of Forbidden Spinjitzu, use of dark magic, has an army of ice warriors at his disposal, and an ice dragon made of pure ice. Great fighter, can use Spinjitzu, and very intimidating. Cons: weak to fire, and can be hacked, rebooted, or mainframe interference. For Vex, pros and cons. Pros: decent fighter, manipulator, and has a magic sheet of ice to know where your exact location is. Cons: weak to fire, quick to anger, selfish, terrible general, impatient, ignorant, and powerless. Here at number 18 is Monmontus, pretty sure I butchered that, kind of the main villain of Season 14, The Island. He is the keeper of the Storm Amulet. He and his ancestors were tasked to guard the amulet from falling into the wrong hands. Ronin was hired to capture a bunch of escaped prisoners. Instead of taking them to jail, he used them to make a fake sea monster to scare the islanders for all their treasures. The islanders would sacrifice anyone to get the sea monster to leave them in peace. They attacked the ninja who they believed they were after the amulet, but after learning the truth, They teamed up with the ninja to stop the threat, but Clutch Powers is still an annoyance to them. I don't have that much to say about him. He was just barely a villain. He was just really dumb, and the season was short with barely any development, and he was just an obstacle in their way. I was going to add him as an honorable mention, but he is a season villain. I'm skipping the pros and cons for this one. Here at 17 is Calamar, the villain of Seabound, season 15 or 14, depends on how you see it. The Prince of Melopia, the Melopians, a city under the sea just like Atlantis, became king by killing his father and betraying his adopted brother. He felt oppressed by the surface people of Ninjago, just as every other goddamn species in this world, that him and his people were forced to live under the sea. He wanted to find the storm amulets to awaken Rogera to take revenge on Ninjago. He was eventually cured by Rogera, who was tired of his abuse of his trident. He wanted revenge on the people of Ninjago. I've seen that storyline before a lot of times by better characters, and the people of Ninjago don't know that the Molopians even exist. And to give him credit, he actually tore the ninja apart, but the next season ruined that for him by bringing a character back too early. Pros: he's a good fighter, has an army at his command, a good swimmer, can survive between land and water. He is strong in strength, intelligent, and a manipulator. Cons: doesn't understand sarcasm, powerless, ignorant, impatient, selfish, greed by power, and quick to anger. Here at number 16 is Unigami, Unfinished Adventure Game 1, the villain of Season 12, Prime Empire. Unigami is a program AI called Prime Empire, created by someone named Milton Dyer, who wanted to create the ultimate gaming experience, but after the disappearance of a gamer named Scott, who entered the world of Prime Empire, Dyer was forced to shut him down, and Unigami felt abandoned by his maker. So he became self-aware and completed his own program by himself. Dyer didn't understand what he created. 30 years later, Unigami associated himself with the mechanic, so they can make a bridge between worlds. Unigami used energy cubes from players who died in Prime Empire to be used as the doorway to Ninjago, so Unigami can confront his maker on his abandonment. Jay was able to talk to Unigami out of his anger by bringing him to Dyer to make up and understand what happened. Jay believed that Unigami was just confused and understood him. He knew what it felt like to be abandoned and believes there's always a reason behind everything. Unigami and Dyer made amends and start all over again. He brought back all the players who died in Prime Empire and gave the NPCs of Prime Empire a choice to live in Ninjago or to return to the game of their choosing. Unigami was cool, but we didn't get enough time with him. He just popped up one or two times, just had his army do all the work for him, and could have taken the ninja out on his own, since he's the one in control of Prime Empire. He has an interesting backstory with a decent motive. He has an amazing world he lives in, but he wasn't fully evil. He lacks the personality when he's trying to be evil, and it was adorable when he forgave his creator. They tried to do the suspension of disbelief by making us think that Milton Dyer was Unigami after learning what was going on with Dyer. I didn't really put anything together. I was just enjoying the season instead. And also, Prime Empire is just like Sword Art Online, getting stuck in a video game, have to survive to get out. I'm not going to say this is better than SAO. Each of them have problems of their own anyway. Pros: can turn into a gaming dragon or anything he wants, has an army at his command, has powers, and a skilled fighter. Cons: doesn't understand a lot, quick to anger, not really evil, can be negotiated with, and can be reprogrammed, kind of. Here at number 15 is Aspera, the main villain of Season 11, Part 1, the Fire Chapter, a Hypnobrai servant who helped a young Rue and Garmadon from imprisonment from her species. In return, they have to teach her Spinjitzu. Garmadon didn't keep his promise, but Rue taught her Spinjitzu, and she used it for evil, overthrowing her king to start a war on Ninjago. Rue and Garmadon used their father's new forbidden Spinjitzu, stopping her and putting their old king in power, restoring peace. Her punishment was to be sealed in a magic tomb for her sins. She was later freed by the ninja, took Kai's firepower, and imprisoned them in the pyramid she was trapped in, and set her sights on revenge on the person who deceived her by getting one of the scrolls of forbidden Spinjitzu. She was defeated by being frozen in ice by Zane, and then she was sent to the Neverrealm, and she was sent to prison. Later in the series, she came back and was a member of the Crystal Council of the Crystal King. Her status of right now is still alive. Her location is currently unknown. She may be in prison, but after crystallized, but the merge messed up a lot of things. She was really annoying when she kept saying revenge over and over. Her plan and motive were stupid. Her army was lame. At least the Lego sets were cool. Why wasn't she released with the other 17 in season 1? Maybe I'm just looking way too hard in this. Probably the idea wasn't thought of back then, and I'm tired of seeing snakes as main villains. I'm surprised that they didn't do ice snakes for the second half of the season. The next time they ever do snakes as villains, they can be chefs, so they can cook great food to beat the ninja. Pros: knows magic, can do spinjitzu, has the power of fire, has an army, can steal powers, can resurrect dead snake mummies, can create fire snakes, telekinesis, and a great fighter. Cons: weak to water, very annoying, ignorant, selfish, massive ego, and impatient. Here at number 14 is the Forbidden Five and Thunderfang, the villains of Dragon's Rising Season 3, or in general of the series, Season 19. The Forbidden Five were introduced of Dragon's Rising Season 2 but became main villains in Season 3. They are a group of elemental masters from the wilderness, basically the world of Chima. They became so hell-bent on gaining power after finding Thunderfang's power, they invented a new power of Spinjitzu called Shatter Spin that releases in waves of energy and destroys the goodness in someone's soul when they use it. They were defeated by using a spell that later became sentient and called herself Bonzel. I'm not going to get into explaining that. That spell banished the five to nether space. Ross was able to bring back one, called Nock, with a blood moon ritual, after sacrificing Kai and using the spell Bonzo to do so. The ritual failed, stopped by the ninja, and Rock's soul possessed Ross's second in command. Nock was able to free the other five using all the Elemental Master's powers and Source Dragon Fangs to cross the bridge to the nether space, bringing them all back, and Rox's soul was able to go back to her body. Their goal was to free Thunderfang with prismatic blades to gain ultimate power to rule everything and destroy anything in their way. And they were betrayed by Thunderfang, like idiots, believing that he would give them ultimate power. Their status of right now is undead hollow servants of Thunderfang after having their souls absorbed. Thunderfang is the dragon of chaos. He came from the first realm of Oni and Dragon, who led war against them, and he wanted to become the Source Dragon of Chaos. He was unworthy, and he felt angry, and imprisoned by prismatic steel, and he got the five to do his bidding, and to free him by promising power, but he never kept the promise. After being freed, he took the five souls, and they became his servants. Aaron uses object spinjitzu on a jar of soul energy, killing Thunderfang, but he came back in the spectral lands to continue doing his evil plotting. This season is still going on, and there isn't a lot of information that I can't give as of right now. This is just the basic knowledge from the Ninjago fan wiki and my personal knowledge from watching the season. Part 2 of Season 3 of Dragon Rising isn't out yet during the making of this video. The Forbidden Five was hyped up to be this big and evil group within the show, but they were basically errand helpers for the ultimate big bad. They were supposed to be a team, but Rox just looks down on the others, and Nock just have personal issues with Roz from being his puppet half the time, and the others don't say much anyway, and they were really stupid for trusting Thunderfang for believing they would give them any ultimate power. I feel like they should have delved deeper into their backstories, gave flashbacks of what they've done, and should have showed more lore of them in the realm of Chima, the wilderness. And for Thunderfang, I don't have much to say about him since his story is still going on right now, and the season is still going on, and it's cool to see a dragon that's evil. The Overlord does not count as a dragon. I'm going to rank each five here. Here at number 5 is Zarkt, has the powers of misfortune, can give anyone bad luck, and he's pretty much the butt of a joke, and no one really takes him seriously, and he didn't use his powers at all. Here at number 4 is Kerr, has the power of decay, turns people zombie-like, and she only does one thing to get one of the blades, and doesn't do anything after that. Here at number 3 is Dix, or Drix, whatever it's called, has the power of bugs, and they showed the most interesting scene of all in Ninjago. Kai blasts a hole through Drix, and seeing he is made up of bugs that freaked the ninja out, and she took the ninja down really quick. Here at number 2 is Rox, Master of Fear, allows her to make anyone afraid, and she's the main leader of the Forbidden Five. She does a lot just to get ultimate power, and she was really stupid for trusting an evil dragon. She also complains a lot, and she didn't use her powers at all. Here at number 1 is Noct. He is super strong, stronger than Cole, We spent the longest time with him. He's also the other leader of the five, and he's more interesting than the rest, and his ruthlessness and sarcasm towards the ninja is entertaining. Pros: has powers, shadow spin, ruthless, great fighters, can fly, mess with the weather, and knows magic. Cons: very ignorant, very stupid, mostly errand boys, greed by power, and were a letdown. I got nothing for Thunderfang. He was very easy to kill when he was alive. His soul ghost is gathering power of souls to become a Source Dragon. And again, this season is still going on. It might be the villain of the next season also. Here at number 13 is Vangelis, villain of season 13, Master of the Mountain. Former king of Shintaro, Vangelis sent a team of explorers below the mountains of Shintaro to retrieve the skull of Hazar Dur. Their mission was a success. After learning what the skull was capable of, the explorers wanted to destroy the skull, but he betrayed the team, sending them through a trapdoor below the mountain. Using the skull to become the Skull Sorcerer, he imprisoned a group of species of geckos and moons. I'm pretty sure I butchered that right there. To work in the Vengestone mines under Shintaro. He stole the ivory and shadow blades of deliverance from them entrusted by Cole's mother, Lily, that caused them to go to war between both species, blaming each other and accusing each other of stealing the blades. Years later, he invited the ninja to his daughter's birthday, Vanya, who is a big fan of the ninja, especially Cole. Lloyd can't trust princesses after what happened with Harumi. The ninja uncovered the secrets of Shintaro, and with the help of the princess, Vanya defeated her father, Vangelis, putting him in jail, and freed the geckos and moons. He was later freed by Harumi to be a member of the Crystal Council of the Crystal King. His status is still alive, probably in prison or freed after the merge. Whereabouts is unknown. I say he is a decent villain. All he cares for is money. That skull of his is really annoying. He really wasn't that interesting, to be honest. I wasn't expecting him to be the Skull Sorcerer. This show keeps doing the averting your expectation of disbelief, making you think this certain character is not the villain. He was a bit better than some of the other villains, and he was able to trick and separate the ninja for a while by deception and lies. He was someone who didn't stood still and do nothing. He jumped into the action to get things done. Pros: he's a good fighter, has two different armies at his side, has a dragon, has a powerful skull to use for power to bring back the dead, can fly with rings, a manipulator, and deceptive. Cons: ignorant, consumed by greed of money and power, and family issues. Here at number 12 is Simikai, main villain of the pilot of the series, general and former king of the skeleton army of the underworld. Lost the mantle of king when Garmadon entered and defeated him, and took control of his army. He followed orders of Garmadon by kidnapping Nia and finding the golden weapons of Spinjitzu. After beating Wu in a battle, he picks up the four golden weapons. After realizing no one can handle all four weapons at once, he was killed by the power of them all. He later returned and dated the departed and was defeated by Jay. I do feel nostalgic towards Samikai since it is the pilot of the series. We didn't get enough time with Samikai, and he only appeared one more time in a special. And every time else, he was mentioned on how he was not that threatening. He was a cool villain for the start of the series, but now he just lacks the energy of recognition and gets overshadowed by better villains now. Pros: good fighter, good general, tactical genius, and can travel between the two realms. Cons: ignorant, got a big ego and getting power, powerless, and easily forgotten. Here at number 11 is Omega, or the Omega, whatever you like to call it. Main villain of Season 10, March of the Oni. Little is known about Omega. He is from the First Land, First Realm, world of dragons and Onis. He took charge after the disappearance of the Oni warlords. He used the Realm Crystal to cross over to Ninjago and started plunging the world into darkness. He was later defeated by the ninja using the Tornado of Creation, bringing light back to Ninjago. It is unknown if he was killed by this or thrown into another realm. The wiki doesn't have an answer for this either. I put him on 11 because the Oni are really interesting, but we didn't get enough time with him, and he rarely says anything in the finale. It just felt like they were just getting tired of making this show and decided to hit that 100 episode mark and end it all. But the show was continuing anyway. He would have been better if they made season 10 longer than just 4 episodes, flesh out his character and backstory, show the war between the dragons and Onis, and the first Majestic Master's life. in the first realm. The one thing that annoys me is that whenever they start dropping lore in the show, they just do the silhouettes instead of showing an actual scenario of the story. When Omega crossed the realms through the realm crystal, he plunged all of Ninjago City into darkness with a dark cloud. Anyone who crosses the dark void is put under a deep slumber. The whole city was covered in mere minutes. Powers of destruction, teleportation, and dimension travel, shape-shifting, even though we never saw him do so. Highly skilled fighter, super strength, fate denial, immune to the predictability of the Sword of Sanctuary, fast and agile. Cons, weak to the golden weapons and to the tornado of creation. Here at number 10 is Beatrix, main villain of Dragon Horizons Season 1, or Season 17 of the show. She is from the realm of Imperium, the second daughter of Emperor Levo. She met Roz, made an offer from him that made her Empress of Imperium. She ruled over Imperium with an iron fist. She hired Roz and has the army of Imperium to capture dragons to use their energy to power Imperium. She had her plans thwarted by Eren, Sora, Ryu, and the ninja. When she heard of the Dragon Cores, her plans were sighted on those cores to make a weapon to have control over the Merge Quakes. Beatrix was stopped by the ninja, was pushed into a Merge Quake rift by Eren, being lost into the unknown. Her whereabouts of right now are unknown. It would be cool to know a little more of Imperium. She was an interesting villain to see for the newbies, Eren and Sora and Ryu. Seeing more of the realms were core, not in the way I would have seen it. I did want them to focus on the realms several years ago, but they had other plans, but mostly wanted them to cross over with Nexo but they are not part of the realms. She does get annoying with her ego. It was nice to see a villain not from Ninjago. She hates everything and everyone around her, has no sympathy for others. She only wants to gain power to rule over all, and has no tolerance for failure. She had an interesting story to rise in power to control all of her realm and all the others, but the structure of Season 1 of Dragon Horizons does drag on a bit much. That brings her character down a little. The season is pretty much a fetch quest. Pros: has an army, have influence over her people, a manipulator, and have many vehicles at her use. Cons: her ego can get in her way, powerless, gets very angry a lot, ignorant, and blinded by power. Here at number 9 is Harumi, the Jade Princess, or known as the Quiet One. Main villain of Season 8, Sons of Garmadon, Season 9, Hunted, and Season 16, Crystallize. After losing her parents due to the Great Devourer, she was nicknamed Quiet One by a nurse. After the Battle of the Great Devourer, she was adopted by the Emperor and Empress, I don't know how to say it, of Ninjago. She spent her time gathering a cult following to worship Garmadon. She orchestrated an attack on the World Palace through the Sons of Garmadon by being innocent. Her adopted parents were killed in the attack. She joins the ninja who is protected by Lloyd. She forms a fake bond with them to backstab them later. She and the rest hunt down the last Oni mask the Sons of Garmadon are after, that they need to resurrect someone. Lloyd and Harumi found the Oni temple where she revealed her true face and motives, that she tricked Lloyd and the others. She got the third mask and resurrected Garmadon from the departed realm. The ritual fails and was arrested, but her act was successful. Garmadon was back and evil. He freed Harumi and her allies from prison, where Garmadon defeats his son on live TV throughout Ninjago, and made a Colossus to take over Ninjago City. She was sent to hunt down and take a young Rue captive, but the giant Colossus destroyed the Destiny Bounty with the 4 original ninja and young Rue on it, in front of Lloyd and Nia. But the ninja used Traveler's Tea to escape in the last moment. She was sent on a mission in Season 9 to hunt down Lloyd and his resistance, later lost her life when Garmadon and Skylar fought control over the giant Colossus, which fell down on the building which she was in, killing her when it collapsed. She was later resurrected by the Overlord, but she will serve under him, doing his bidding, to make him return the plunged darkness to Ninjago. She made an entire army for him and recruited members for the Crystal Council. During the final battle, Lloyd and the Crystal King, she learned that he possessed the Great Devourer that made Garmadon turn evil, and turn on him, helping Lloyd fight him to win the battle. She was arrested and helped rebuild the monastery after feeling bad and learned the truth. Her status of right now is unknown. After the merge, she might be in prison or not. I was originally going to put Nautica on here, but after realizing the bad riding she went through, that made me bump her down. She was mad at the ninja for not saving her parents from the great devourer, but decided to worship the evilest guy in Ninjago. She should be mad at Pythor, who released the great devourer, that she invited to be a member of the Crystal Council. She didn't know that. She just forgave them all after learning the truth, after learning what the Overlord did, and they forgave her for what she has done. To give her some praise, she was very deceptive, played the long game, pulling the strings from behind the scenes. She did what others couldn't do, played the Green Ninja like a fiddle. She got close to him and formed a close bond with him and broke his heart, hurting him where it is the closest, becoming the daughter of his father to hurt him even more. She was very deceptive and even tricked me before season 8. I wanted a female villain for the show. The preeminent does not count, because it could shake things up for the series, but I didn't want to believe it at the time that she was the quiet one. I tell you, I need to stop falling for this show's diverting expectations of disbelief. It took some time to accept it, that she was a good villain, even though she had some problems. She does have feelings for Lloyd, so that part wasn't faked by her. Pros: she's a decent fighter, good at deception, a manipulator, a good strategist, a good planner, very intelligent, have influence over others, and knows how to hurt people where it's close. Cons: powerless, let her feelings for Lloyd get in the way, gets angry a lot, and put her loyalty in a false idol. Here at number 8 is Nauticon, the main villain of Season 6, Skybound, the Jinn Prince of Jinjago, and pirate captain of Misfortune's Keep. He dominated the seas of Ninjago with his crew until his run-in with Captain Soto, who trapped him in the teapot and his crew was marooned in different realms. Centuries later, he was freed by Klaus, then he tricked Klaus, trapped him in the teapot, then he found out that the love of his life, Delora, was no longer alive. I messed that up and I'm sorry. Then he sought out the realm crystal that was in Hiroshi's labyrinth. After getting the realm crystal, he brought back his crew and went to his home realm bringing his crew. Upon arriving to Jinjago, he sees it collapsing before his eyes, meeting up with his father to learn that the cursed realm was destroyed. That caused a chain reaction that destroys his home. His father decides to stay and gave his son the Jinn Blade. He and his crew went back to Ninjago, learning that actions have consequences. He decides to take everything from the ninja that they love, starting with Ninjago, by turning it into the new Jinjago. He took the ninja down one by one upon meeting Nia and reminded him of his late beloved, Delara. Nalakon's main goal was to take his beloved's hand in marriage to gain infinite wishes to make himself. He was defeated by Jay, using his final wish that no one found the teapot, erasing the events of Skybound. Nauticon's status is still alive, trapped in the teapot. I don't know if he's out, but at the beginning of Season 12, it looked like that Clutch Powers found the teapot and released him. That might be a gag for the show or not. This question is up in the air. This spot was originally going to go to Harumi, but with the bad writing with her, I bumped it down for me. I know this season was a bit controversial with his plan to marry Nia, making him a predator for marrying a child, but I'm sure the co-creator Tommy Andreas confirmed that the ninja was in their 20s at the start of the show, because you need to be at least 20 to run a blacksmith shop. I rewatched Season 6 and I gotta say, Nauticon was that guy. He played the game and he won, but his victory was erased. But he was able to trick the ninja, manipulated their wishes, twisting their words, making them wish their way into the Jinn Blade, and taking over Ninjago. The more souls that his sword gets, the stronger he got. By taking chunks of land of Ninjago, turning it into his home, he was great with deception and lies, making everyone cautious and very wary of everything, separating the ninja, making the teamwork useless. He was very charismatic. He didn't really care about his crew. He betrayed them at the end anyway, and he couldn't break Jay, but did make his team turn on him for a while. He's at this spot because to me, Season 6 feels like a filler season. I like it when this show drops a ton of lore, which we got very little in this season, but we did get a little more info on the realms. Pros: can shapeshift, great fighter, can teleport, a great manipulator, fast reflexes and speed, can travel through time, like what he did with Kai's wish, summon weapons, can change his size, and can turn invisible. This is a mix of pros and cons, making wishes that can be an advantage and disadvantage that depends on the wish that's been made. Cons: Tiger's Widow's Venom that can slow a Jinn down, selfish, greedy, and his massive ego can show sometimes. They had the idea to add Nauticon as a villain in Season 16's Crystallize, but they didn't because they said it would be too difficult to explain his return. In my personal opinion, I say they should have added him, and they don't need to explain his return. Not a lot of stuff in this show makes sense anyway. It would have been cool to see him with the nunchucks of lightning and fighting Jay. Here at number 7 are the Hands of Time. Crux and Acronix, the main villain of Season 7, the Hands of Time. They fought during the Serpentine Wars, and after the wars, they thought they were the superior ones, betraying Wu, Garmadon, and the Elemental Alliance, defeating them with ease, with the power of time, believing that they should rule all of Ninjago, to control time, to control everything. Wu tasked Ray and Maya, Kaiania's parents, to create blades made from chronosteel, able to take away elemental powers. Wu thanked them for their work and took the blades to fight alongside Garmadon to fight the time trends. Crux and Acronix combined their powers to use against Wu and Garmadon, but they blocked it with the chronosteel blades, absorbing and taking their powers, creating the time blades. Now with the time trends powerless, Wu and Garmadon created a time vortex, sending the blades through it. The time trends didn't stand for the powers being taken away from them, so they followed the blades through the vortex. Acronix was sent 40 years in the future, and Crux was sent moments in the past, running off, scheming up a plan for revenge, and waiting for his brother to return. After Crux ran off, the reversal blade failed after him. The blade was founded by Wu and sealed away from anyone's reach. Crux hid his identity and worked at the Museum of Ninjago under a false alias called Dr. Saunders. He formed a close bond with Ray and Maya, and then betraying them and kidnapping them to use in his grand scheme. And he was using eggs from the great devourer to create the Vermilion army. After 40 years, Wu waited for Acronix to arrive at the monastery through the vortex. Acronix fought Wu, and when the ninja showed up and fought them too with the speed up time blade, and winning. I don't know what kind of tea that Wu and the ninja was drinking. They clearly did not win that fight against Acronix, that the ninja bragged about winning. He met up with his brother, planned to take over Ninjago. They kidnapped Cyrus Berg to create a machine to use the time blades that allowed the Hands of Time to travel through time. They only had to wait for the other time blades to arrive. Crux forced Ray and Maya to create a mech shell called the Iron Doom that they used to travel for 40 years in the past. After they were banished to defeat Wu, Garmadon and the Elemental Alliance, but was thwarted by Kaiania. They used the Iron Doom to go forward into the future, but was thwarted by Wu by taking the reversal blade, messing the Iron Doom up, throwing Kaiania back to the present with the reversal blade. Staying behind to fight the Hands of Time, he was able to destroy the Iron Doom, making the Hands of Time lost, and he was affected by the reversal blade, turning him into an infant, throwing him into a random place and time. Crux and Acronix's status is unknown, presumably lost in time or out of the vortex, scheming their next plan. We might have a chance of seeing them again, possibly in Dragon's Horizons. Crux had the power of reversal and pause. Acronix had the power of speed up and slow down, before their powers were taken away by the chronosteel. I love the Hands of Times because I like the concept of them, the most powerful elemental masters out there, the lore and the connection they have with Sensei Wu. I love the designs. They had the upper hand throughout the entire season, even though the ninja was written dumb sometimes. They were using old school techniques and mechanical mechanisms to fight the ninja, and they were having trouble fighting that. Both of their personalities clashed off with each other very well, but their sibling bickering can get annoying. Crux despises technology while Acronix loves it, since he wasn't there to witness it, catching up on the last 40 years of development. It was said they were manipulated by Chen to turn against the Elemental Alliance, but they scrapped that idea and just made them think they were superior. When they teased Season 7, they had a still image art where the ninja was looking at a painting of the sons of the first Ninjutsu master fighting the Hands of Time, and has Dr. Saunders looking at a watch. There were tons of theories on this teaser, and one that was Dr. Saunders was one of the Hands of Time. I didn't want to believe it. I tell you, I keep falling for it. They will occasionally drop time puns or any time joke throughout the season. That does get annoying. Pros had the power of time, but when using the time blades, great fighters, master strategists, intelligent, they use information as power, fast learners, perfect timers know to dodge attacks at the right time, pun intended, and good acting, mostly Crux. Cons, also powerless. Acronix has a short attention span. For Crux, hate loud noises, arrogance, and stubbornness, and both of them are very overconfident. Here's an extra bonus here. Here's a scrap ending for Season 7, but mostly the ending for the entire series, and it would have been an underwhelming whimper finale for the series. You can pause the video to read it. I don't think they were forced to this, but mostly stumbled into it. If they didn't get renewed for an 8th season, This was 2017 and the movie was coming out that year. I heard the movie was going to focus on the Vermilion, but probably due to creative differences, it never happened. And the movie had production issues and got delayed. So they went ahead making season 7. My theory here that they were going to end the series here and focus on the movie. And if the movie was successful, they would have went ahead with that universe and continuity. But it wasn't, and we got the 8th season, so we won. Here at number 6 is Ross. He's an anthropomorphic tiger from the wilderness realm, aka Chima. He was introduced in season 1 of Dragon Horizons, or season 17 of the series. He helped Beatrix rise to power of Imperium, and insisted of helping her capture dragons to use as energy for Imperium. But he had other plans for the dragons. He summoned one of the source dragons and captured it. He was pretty much a guy for hire in the first season, and was the main villain throughout the second season, and probably be the main villain throughout the entire Dragon's Horizons. When he was a cub, he was dangling from a tree branch and fell into a small ravine, and was saved by a mysterious celestial being teaching Roz in the ways of strength, and becoming Roz's master. Throughout Season 2 of Dragon's Horizons, Roz found an old power technique of Shadow Spin, opened up a Shadow Dojo, assembling the Wolf Clan, and used a ritual during a blood moon to free the Forbidden Five. He only released one of them, Noct, because he was thwarted by the ninja, and later attended the Tournament of Sources that he trained Elemental Masters. He was betrayed by Noct after the tournament. He used the elemental powers to bring the other 5 back without a blood moon ritual. Roz was knocked out by Noct, and Aaron went after him. Throughout Season 3, he was a mentor to Aaron, seeking to find his parents and to restore all their realms before they were merged, with the help of his master. Now, Roz's master hasn't been revealed yet, and Dragon's Horizons is still going on, and there are many theories on who it is. I'm going to go over some of them and give my own theories. Now, the first theory here, his master is Wu. I highly doubt it's Sensei Wu. They said that he caused the merge and Roz wants to reverse it. Roz will never team up with someone who caused that event. Second theory here, it's Garmadon. We haven't seen Garmadon after the merge and don't know where he is, and I don't think he wants to use Roz as a pawn to attain his own goals, or if he is even evil anymore. The third theory, it's an Oni. It could be an Oni. We don't know where they went after the Tornado of Creation, and there might be more out there. Number 4 here, it's the Overlord. I know a lot of people are tired of seeing him, but he is in a void. A place between or beyond realms can be a place where he can bring people to talk to. The Overlord will use anyone to achieve his goals. This one might be a possibility. And the fifth and last theory here, it's a Source Dragon, possibly the Strength one. It could be that one of the Source Dragons wants to betray the others and wants to rule all using Roz as a distraction. Roz is one of the most interesting villains the ninja has faced. He's from another world that is mysterious and known to us, but barely. We probably won't see any other Chima characters. They should at least bring back Chi as a power source. His motives are interesting in a way. He's a tough and intelligent opponent for the ninja. I like his design. He relies on anger and rage to achieve true power. He goes after people who are vulnerable, insecure, and naive, that are easy to manipulate. His backstory is a little interesting. There was no healer to help him, and he serves under a mysterious master. He will do anything to attain his goals and help his master, but will he betray his master, or will it be the other way around? Pros, with his tiger physiology, he has night vision, super stamina, super durability, endurance, super leap, super strength, can walk on all fours. He's highly intelligent, a manipulator, a martial artist, knows magic, anger empowerment, expert hunter, expert hand-to-hand combat, an expert flyer and driver. Cons, blinded by his own cleverness, too prideful, anger issues, and selfish. Here at number 5 is Pythor, main villain of Season 1, Rise of the Snakes. Aided the Overlord in Season 3, Rebooted, aided the Ninja in Season 4, Tournament of Elements, against Chen and his fake snakes, came back during the Data departed to fight Lloyd and lost, then came back in Season 16, Crystallized, to be a member of the Crystal King's Council. When the ninja defeated the Crystal Army, he was thrown in prison, or he's freed after the merge. His status is alive. He is a self-proclaimed general of the Anacondrae. He took part in the Serpentine Wars. It is unknown how many battles he was in. He might have cavalry hid using his invisibility. He and the other lower-rank Anaconda generals was imprisoned, sealed away, and a tomb in the Sea of Sand. 4 decades later, he was freed by a young lord and met Pythor, the last remaining Anacondrae. Lloyd asked about the others, and Pythor explained that they were locked away for many years without food. where they restored where they resorted to cannibalism, where they all ate each other, making him the last sole survivor of the tribe. He pretended to be Lloyd's friend and be his loyal servant for a small period of time. He betrayed him in front of the ninja to get the map of the other five tombs, freeing them and uniting the five tribes to become the Serpentine King at the lost city of Ouroboros, fighting the generals to become the king. His ultimate goal was to get the four silver fang blades to free the Great Devourer on the people of Ninjago for imprisoning them for decades and being oppressed by them. After finding the blades, bringing them back to the city of Ouroboros, he puts them in the statue of the Great Devourer, believing the snake was inside the statue, only to realize it was on the ground. He tries to escape to only be stopped by Ru to see what he has done. That is their destiny to witness the rise of the Great Devourer. Then it ate the both of them. After the defeat of the Devourer, unknown to the ninja, Pythor survived the Devourer, bleaching his skin white. He laid low for a while, spying on the ninja, where he schemed. He hitched a ride on the Bounty while he was invisible. When the ninja went to the Dark Island, where he learned about the Overlord, and probably hitched a ride on the Ultra Dragon or Golden Mech back to Ninjago, where he hid and picked up on some computer skills. During Rebooted, he found the Overlord virus after the blackout and helped him, concealing his identity until he met up with Lloyd, revealing what happened to him. He took a dive for the Overlord, eating a shrinking pill, making him small. After the battle, he was thrown in prison and later turned big by Arcturus. Pythor is a charming and funny character. He was a great big bag, but now serving others. He hid behind a facade to pretend to be friendly and polite to others, to use in his plots. Very cruel and ruthless, has a sadistic side, and has a dark sense of humor, and driven by madness, possibly due to being alone for so long. And he likes to mock, experiment, and poke fun at others. He's the most interesting snake out of all of them, since he's the last of his kind, and he's very different to his own kind with a long neck. When he was turned white, it made him stand out even more. He can turn back to purple if he sheds his skin. Pros: invisibility, large jaws, very strong, prolonged lifespan, immune to fire, enhanced sense, intelligence, decent to hand-to-hand combat, good archery, computer skills, great leader, tactical genius, and very charismatic. Cons: he was small for a while, cowardly from time to time, clumsy, obsessed with achieving his goals, and very ignorant. Here at number 4 is Lord Garmadon, main villain of the pilot, half of Season 2, Legacy of the Green Ninja, resurrected in Season 8, Sons of Garmadon, and main villain in Season 9, Hunted. Pretty much the main villain of the entire series. He was bitten by the Great Devourer when he was young, that corrupted him, slowly turning him evil. He was trained by Master Chen to harness his abilities, and was given the title of Lord Garmadon. He fought alongside his brother during the Serpentine Wars, where he met the love of his life, Misako, and fought the Time Trends. Then one night, at the monastery, he walked into the room with the golden weapons, about to take them until he was confronted by Ru. They fought over the weapons, bringing the four weapons together that caused an eruption that opened up the underworld, with Garmadon being struck by lightning, turning him dark, and falling to the underworld. Then he defeated Simikai to become the king of the Skulkin. After that, Ru hid the four weapons. Decades later, he sent Simikai after the golden weapons, but Ru gathered a team of ninja to thwart his plans. But after Simikai brought the weapons to the underworld, where he fought Ru and won, and tried to betray Garmadon using the golden weapons, but was killed by them, opening up a portal to the realm of madness so he can come back stronger to wield all the weapons as Penjitsu. Later, when the Serpentine was on the loose, Ru sought to seek him out, to bring him back to help with Lloyd. He was given the golden weapons to kill the Great Devourer, getting revenge on the snake. Then he went on to find more power, losing the golden weapons along the way, becoming the king of the Serpentine, then being betrayed by them, then finding his way to the Dark Island, meeting the Overlord to plunge Ninjago in darkness, then being betrayed by him, taking over his body to rule over Ninjago. You know, for someone who wants to rule over Ninjago, he always gets betrayed by his armies and allies. After Lloyd defeated the Overlord, returning light to Ninjago and the evil out of Garmadon's system, he becomes good, later sacrificing himself to free the Anaconda generals to stop Shin's army, and was killed when the Cursed Realm was destroyed. Later was resurrected by Harumi and took over Ninjago and defeated by Lloyd and sent to prison. And he helped the ninja battle the Oni and the Overlord. His status is still alive and his whereabouts are unknown after the merge. I may feel nostalgic for him, but sometimes he doesn't feel really evil. He always holds back, and he doesn't want to fight his son. He struggles with that light and darkness in him, but he does hold a lot of tension and holds a connection to the ninja with a lot of stakes. And when he came back from the dead, the beatdown he gave to his son in the prison was shocking. With the amount of stories he can tell, if he's not trying to conquer Ninjago. I didn't like it at first when they changed his design after the movie, but I got used to it. He is kind of funny sometimes. Pros: no spinjitzu, powers of destruction, can create a giant colossus, can transform to Oni form, dark magic, weapon summoning, can hide in the shadow or become a shadow, can wield the golden weapons, a skilled combatant, can sense things and people nearby, martial artist, and a manipulator. Cons: impatient, easily betrayed, very obsessed with achieving his goals, has a massive ego, he is his own enemy, too prideful, anger issues, and family issues. Here at number 3 is Master Chin, main villain of Season 4, Tournament of Elements, and came back and dated Departed. During the Serpentine Wars, he trained Garmadon and gave him the title of Lord. He played both sides, the humans and the snakes. He found peace boring and wanted the snakes to win, manipulating the Elemental Alliance and Arcturus, making sure Arcturus would win. After the Elemental Alliance won, Chin and Klaus was banished to an island. Over the next 4 decades, Chin built an underground criminal empire and had a noodle house on the side. He gathered a cult following, worshipping the most powerful snake tribe, the Anaconda, and led the ninja to his island to find their friend, but made them compete in his tournament with the other Elemental Masters, playing all of them in his master plan to steal their powers to start the next Serpentine War, turning him and his cult into Anaconda. He was defeated by the ghost of Arcturus, cursing him and his army to the Cursed Realm. The Cursed Realm was destroyed, sending him to the Departed Realm. His status is deceased, unless he's in the Spectral Lands somewhere. Chin is a master of manipulation, a man with many secrets and a lot of knowledge. He knows how to play the game, tricking everyone, deceiving those around him, and get people to turn on each other, making everyone paranoid. A very charismatic and funny character that is super quirky, a giant conspiracy throughout this season, and torn the ninja apart, and their allies too. His plan is the most intense and made Ninjago fall. He has a flair of the theatrics and wants to put on a show. He divided Garmadon and Wu, and he's very stylish and connects to the lore of Ninjago, and to the Elemental Alliance, and the Serpentine Wars a lot, which I want to know more about. Pros: a master manipulator, deceiver, and liar, has a cult following, really rich, used knowledge and secrets as power, good teacher, and briefly have super strength, immune to fire as a snake, and powers from his staff. Cons: powerless, gets way in over his head, arrogance, too prideful, lack of honesty, and fell to his own trickery. Here at number 2 is Moro, main villain of Season 5, Possession. Came back and dated Departed to help the ninja and redeem himself in Dragon's Rising Season 3, which is still going on. He found Wu when he was digging in the trash for food. Wu gave him food. After that, Wu trained Moro after finding he was an Elemental Master, which Wu made him believe he was going to be the destined Green Ninja. But the Golden Weapons rejected him, and Wu was given the truth. Moro retorted, saying he would train more and learn more and learn more lessons. But Wu said that destiny had spoken. Moro refused to listen and got mad. He made him believe that he was something special. He left the monastery to go look for the first Ninjutsu Master's tomb to make him worthy. Wu left the door open in case if he wanted to return. He died along his journey, and his angry spirit was banished to the Cursed Realm to serve the Preeminent. When Garmadon opened the door to the Cursed Realm, he escaped, later possessed Lloyd, learning Irjitsu, getting the Sword of the Sanctuary to find the first Ninjutsu Master's tomb, to get the Realm Crystal, to free his master to curse all the realms. He was killed when the Preeminent was drowned in the ocean, and it poured Moro along with the rest, and going to the departed realm. He came back in Dragon Horizons to guide those to the afterlife, from the Spectral Lands, and having his soul sucked up by Thunderfang. His status is unknown. Moro's backstory is kind of bland because it's the same as Tai Lung from Kung Fu Panda, but he's the most interesting character. Wu saw him as his biggest regret, what made him angry, and made Wu a bad person, and seeing him as a mistake wasn't a good thing. Wu still believed he could be redeemed. His plan is the most interesting to see all the realms cursed under one rule. His jealousy rivalry with the Green Ninja was great to see. He made all the ninja afraid of him, fighting an enemy they can't touch. He's a terrifying character that gave the ninja a challenging time, gave conflict to each and single one of them, but mostly Rue, getting rid of the ninja's powers by possessing Lloyd, raising the stakes of the season, making them conflicted on fighting their friend, being corrupted, angry, lost, broken, obsessed. In his final moment, minutes away from death, he realized that Rue still cared about him, reflecting on his mistakes, making amends with Rue, and apologizing for what he has done, then perishing in the waters. Moro was a tragic character within the show. All he ever wanted to be special, but was tossed aside and went down the wrong path. That cursed him and later redeemed himself following his teacher's ways, to help others for his redemption. One more thing, his model in Dragon's Risings is weird. Why does it look like straight from the video game movie? Pros: former master of wind, martial artist, a great fighter, can summon a ghost dragon, which is freaking cool as hell. As a ghost, he can possess anything, living and non-living, and can summon allies with the armor of Azure. Cons: weak to water, impatient, very jealous, immature, and limited to his possession of living beings when they're fighting back for control. Alrighty, finally at long last, the number one villain of Ninjago. It's Fugidub. This guy is the most powerful and the most terrifying character within the show. Possibly all of LEGO. I can't get into the character's backstory because it's too complex and there isn't any footage of it. Even the writers don't know how to explain it either. He may look goofy on the outside, but don't underestimate him. He is strong, he's a god pretending to be human, a master combatant, has every known power of the man, deep rooted in the lore of Ninjago, and makes the ninja terrified in a way. The ninja beat him all the time, but he chooses to lose. That's his way of being nice, so he doesn't eliminate them in a flick of his ring, so he can fly like a bird. I can try to get more into his story, but he terrifies me. Pros: has every power, master combatant, master hunter, master manipulator, can create things out of thin air, but he chooses not to. Can destroy things with a blink of an eye, but chooses not to. Master flyer, master driver, knows magic, knows spinjitzu, can turn into any animal, mostly a dove, but chooses not to for some reason. He's really nice, one hell of a master chef, can bring back the dead, can travel anywhere in the multiverse, can time travel, and can rewrite destiny. But he chooses not to do 90% of these. Cons: he only has one weakness, in that you don't talk about his mother. He gets really emotional about that, and we don't know anything about her. Alright, that is every main villain of Ninjago ranked. This video took a lot out of me, so I'll see you all later. Okay, jokes aside, the number one spot here is the Overlord, main villain of Season 2, Legacy of the Green Ninja, Season 3 rebooted, and Season 16 crystallized. Long before time had a name, the first Spinjitzu master created Ninjago. There's always a balance. Where there is light, there is always darkness. The Overlord was born. In the shadows, the darkest of shadows, he and the first Spinjitzu master have fought for a long time. Each side powerful couldn't conquer each other. The Overlord created his stone army, overwhelmed the first Spinjitzu master, split Ninjago into two halves, leaving the Overlord on the Dark Island. Centuries or eons later, Garmadon founded the Dark Island, meeting the Overlord, disrupting the balance. He possessed Garmadon and turned into a dragon, and was defeated by Lloyd in his golden power. With his vessel gone, and the ninja thought he was destroyed. Ninjago rebuilt the city, and turned it into New Ninjago City. Yeah, creative name there. The city turned into a technology advancement with Cyrus Borg. Unknown to him, the Overlord spirit possessed the technology, turning the city against the ninja. With Zane's blueprints, the original Ninjoid created an army of Ninjoids to take Lloyd's golden power. After the ninja taking out the power, a mysterious stranger, later turned out to be Pythor, stole the hard drive containing the Overlord virus, aiding the Overlord on rise to power to take over Ninjago. Capturing Lloyd, draining his golden power to get his own body back, and also fighting the ninja in the Digiverse. After the ninja deleted the Overlord virus and stopping the process of transferring of the golden power, the ninja believed they destroyed the Overlord. He managed to get his own body back, but in a weakened state. He commanded his army to get the golden weapons to become the Golden Master. With the weapons melted down, creating the golden armor, he has become the Golden Master, turning the city into a fortress. The ninja had a plan to stop him with Cyrus Borg to give him a shrinking pill, has failed. That pythor took a dive for him, so only one option was left. Zane sacrificing himself to destroy the Overlord's vessel, making him go dormant. After Hirumi died, The Overlord resurrected her. For her to come back to life was to serve him. She's back from the dead with a purple crystal in hand. She took it to the Oni temple, creating the Crystal Temple. He went by a new alias, the Crystal King. For years, he fed on the conflict and was powerful enough to return. With the help of Harumi and the Crystal Council, he had returned now. With the Crystal Army on his side, he was unstoppable. Even the ninja had a difficult time fighting his new army, and he turned the city into a dystopia of crystals, everywhere and destroying the bounty too. When all hope was lost, everyone came together, bringing the golden weapons together. They created the Ultra Golden Dragon. Fighting the Crystal King along with Lloyd, they defeated the Overlord, restoring the balance. The Overlord's status is dormant, waiting to come back. There is always something about the big bag that makes him cool. The Overlord can't truly die or be destroyed. He is part of the balance of good and evil, light and dark. He is the embodiment of all evil. He feeds on the conflict, the chaos, the havoc, the anger, and the hatred, so he can get strong enough to return to destroy the balance. So there will always be peace in the dark. That is a cold line. He won multiple times. He torn the ninja apart when Zane sacrificed himself. Tearing Ninjago apart, putting the people in a broken state of mind, is only when he makes good come together as one, is able to resist him. He makes Ninjago realize there will always be evil around, and there will never be peace. Darkness will always come. According to the creators, the Overlord would be unstoppable if he had the right vessel. I like all the aliases he goes by: Dark Lord, Golden Master, Crystal King. I love the character's design and his stories, and gives us the most lore of the show. Kind of. I know he's going to be back in Ninjago Dragon's Horizons. Definitely not in Season 4, but probably around the final few seasons. I know a lot of people are tired of seeing him, and I understand it, but I still like seeing him as the villain. Pros: absolute immortality, beyond dimensional existence, levitation, resurrection, enhanced perception, enhanced strength and durability, possession, powers of darkness, dark material, dark materialization, like creating his stone army and crystal army, has a dragon form, crystal creation, strength bestowed, I don't know how to say it, telekinesis, crystallization, shape-shifting, golden power, formerly, no spinjitzu, has powers of destruction and creation, good fighter, a bit of a manipulator, can corrupt anyone. He's immune to the golden weapons when combined, all in one. Cons: this is kind of weird, but weak to the golden weapons, light power, put together in a way. He needs a physical form, vulnerable to the golden power, and a counterbalance to the balance. Before I end the video here, I do want to give my thoughts and opinions on Dragon's Horizons. I do enjoy the show overall, but I don't like how the realms are portrayed. I didn't expect them all to be combined all in one world. I did ask one of the creators years ago around season 7 if they would ever focus on the realms, and they said they had other plans in mind. That's mostly because I want a crossover with Nexo Knights, but they are not part of the realms. And throwing Chima in there would be cool too. We still could get that in Dragon's Horizons. I don't like how all the realms work. They made Cloud Kingdom boring, and some of the creatures are just lame sometimes. Imperium is interesting enough as it is, and Roz is the only interesting one from the other realms. And they could do so much more, introduce the characters from Chima again, make them have a prominent role in the show. And when they see the ninja or any of the heroes, they will say the last thing they remember was seeing a dark cloud, a dark creature with purple eyes. They were fighting back, but everything went dark. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm mentioning the Oni, since they try to take over all the realms. They could at least make Chi a power source in the show. It's cool to see Jinjago again, and to see one Jin alive. I want to see Nauticon again, though. The administration is the weirdest place. I don't like how all the previous minions are mindlessly working just to show how useless they are. One of the funniest gags in the original show was whenever the ninja visited the prison, you would have seen snakes, skeletons, the giant stone warrior, and ninjoids in prison outfits. That represents that the ninja already knows how to fight them and used to them. Now they are just lame, and I love seeing that Moro has a redemption arc in the Spectral Lands. I just think the show has some pacing issues, and the fetch quests are lame sometimes. Them getting the dragon cores and prismatic blades gets boring. The one thing I say, I like Aaron in the show, makes things fresh for the show. It's cool to see the show from the point of view from a fan. Aaron loves the ninja, they are his heroes, and always wanted to meet them, and he does. He's always gushing about his heroes, but now he's a member of the team, He found himself in a big conspiracy and now has to stop it with the ninja, but his main goal is to find his parents that were lost in the merge. He taught himself spinjitzu and became very helpful to the team. Wildfire and Sora are cool too, but I find Aaron the most interesting one. That's just some of my thoughts on Dragon Horizons. I don't want to go too deep into the show. That's every Ninjago villain rank. Just a reminder, all of this is my opinion. If you agree or disagree, that's fine. If you're wondering why I never put Klaus and the mechanic on this list, they are basically side villains. Klaus was a big part of Season 4 and would do anything to achieve the goals that he and Shin are doing, but he was pushed to the side most of the time. And he was the villain of the Dark Island trilogy, but that was a book and was never animated. And I guarantee you that most Ninjago fans are unaware of. And for the mechanic, he played a bigger role in Season 12 Prime Empire, but he worked under Unagami and he ran away after bringing him to the real world. I'll make a list ranking secondary villains here soon, or sooner or later, probably later. You can give me your rankings in the comments below. Give me your thoughts and opinions below. I would like to hear them. This video has taken a lot out of me, especially writing the script for the video. Yeah, this script took a lot out of me because I've been writing it for the past month or two, and recording it took a long time out of me too. So I'm just gonna scroll through it so you can see all of it. Scroll down really quick. All the honorable mentions and the main villains, and just getting all the pictures took a long time, and giving my thoughts on Dragon's Horizons. That took a lot out of me. I'll probably update this list when Dragon's Horizons is a few more seasons in, or the entire show is done, and a new one comes out. I guarantee you that Ninjago will never end. I'll make videos building the Lego sets, not all of them, some of them. Some of the Dragon Horizons ones don't really interest me at all. I'll build some of the old ones. They don't make them anymore, so I'll just find them online. This is my tier list of them all right here. You got the Dove in first place. You got the best of the best on the top row. Overlord, Moro, Chin, Garmadon, and Pythor. Some good villains on the second row. Roz, Crux and Acronix, Nauticon and Harumi. Some decent ones. Beatrix, Omega, Shimukai, and Vangelis. Slightly okay. The Forbidden Five, Aspira, and Unagami. This is an old list, so Thunderfang isn't on it. Some bad ones. Calamar and Momentous. Kind of counts. The Ice Emperor. And Awful, Iron Baron, and Vex. And the honorable mentions, Ronin, the Great Devourer, the Preeminent, Rogera, Octorus, and Yang. And all these on the bottom here are just secondary villains, or not villains at all. I will rank all the generals another time. That's all I have for this video. What do you want me to rank next? I'll see you all later.